Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to give you my top 30 movies of 2024. Now, I seen a total of about 63, 64 movies this year, I think, somewhere in there. Of course, that's a lot, okay, but that's not enough for most people. You know, a lot of people see, attend the festivals and see like 100, 200 some odd movies. I've not seen that much. So obviously, there are going to be movies I've missed, ones I've meant to see that I did not get to for whatever frustrating reason that is. Ones like Wild Robot, which I meant to see in theaters, but I just have not gotten to it yet. I do own the Blu-ray. If I did watch it, I'm sure it'd be at least fairly high on my list. But yeah, other than that, this is my list, not yours. It's going to be very, very much my list. So just understand that people are allowed to like different things and that sort of idea that you're taught as children. You know what I mean? But yeah, we're gonna rattle this off kind of quicker than I have in the past, just to make it a little bit of an easier video to do and watch. But yeah, we're gonna start off with a few honorable mentions, and here we are. Azrael Love Samara Weaving. The movie did not work for me as much as I was hoping it would, but still definitely worth talking about. Venom: The Last Dance. I enjoyed the ride of this, and there is a bit of a nice emotional note it leaves off on, which might surprise you. Just not quite enough, but I still liked it well enough. The Beekeeper, love Jason Statham. This was a good, throwback yet again of him. One of his more violent end fights as well. And yeah, The Fall Guy, movie I appreciate. I wanted to like it a little bit more than I did. Mixed on Ryan Gosling fitting into the movie. Love Emily Blunt though. Love the Taylor Swift references, and just the overall, premise of it as a nod to stuntmen. And my final honorable mention is going to be Drive Away Dolls. Margaret Qualley is being talked about a lot for The Substance, deservedly so, but I much preferred this movie personally. And Beanie Vendelstein's in this. A nice, really went under the radar. And that brings me to 30, which is Maria, starring Angelina Jolie. One of my two very favorite actresses of all time. She gives such a raw and impactful performance. She's going to be much higher up in terms of my favorite performances individually this year. The movie in general, I did not like as much as I wanted to, which is disappointing. But her performance still sticks with me, and like I said, I'll be talking about her much more when we talk about just the acting all around this year itself. 29 is Arcadian. Nicolas Cage is one of my all-time favorite actors. This is a bit of a quiet place mixed in with a bit of like a vampire flavor at the nighttime, a bit of a creature all of its own. You have the kid from the first It movie in this. Not quite landing as much as you'd want it to, but still pretty good. 28 is The Killer's Game, starring Dave Bautista as well as Sophia Boutella, Ben Kingsley. Fun seeing Drew McIntyre in this as a wrestling fan and genre vet like Scott Adkins. So it's cool to see in this as well. A lot of fun, very stylistic, and Batista just seems to become more and more of an endearing lead in every movie he's in. 27 is The Holiday Junkie. Yes, a Lifetime Hallmark style movie. Love Jennifer Love Hewitt to death. This plays on some real feelings she's had with the passing of her mom years ago and sort of their connection with that. Really nice performance from her as well as her husband. It very much is what you think it is, but there's a comfort to that, and Hewitt can land a kind of mood like that better than pretty much anybody. 26 is Arthur the King. Love Mark Wahlberg. Love any stories involving dogs. This one is based on a real event. Kind of a sports cross, competition type of deal. Simo Lu's in this as well. Liked it. My whole family did, actually. And bringing us into 25 is Mother's Instinct, starring Jessica Chastain and Anne Hathaway. One I wish I would have seen in theaters, but a really interesting, intimate, verging on, darker mental story nonetheless. I liked it quite a bit. Good lead performances. 24 is going to be Love Lies Bleeding, starring Kristen Stewart, as well as Katie O'Brien and Ed Harris. Really deserves all the kind of circuit attention it got. Kristen Stewart, give her flowers. Really good performance from her and O'Brien as well. Stewart's been pumping these out for years. O'Brien, Rainbow on Z Nation, good to see her in this too. Do check it out. Nice little crime thriller with a bit of an edge. 23 Strange Darling. Will Fitzgerald is just great in this. It's one of those that's best if you know as little about it as possible. Kyle Gallner's good in this as well. Once you see like the direction of it, I don't think it has the rewatchability factor. It needs to be a little bit higher on this list, but still a really good exercise in what it's going for, and very, very much worth watching. 22, I believe, is going to be Dirty Angel starring Eva Green, one of the greatest actors I've ever seen. A military movie that is a bit, I don't know, usual, but there's some satisfying violence to it. There is some thought to it, and it is fairly satisfying by the end. Great anchored performance from Green, as expected. 21 is going to be Salem's. A lot of nice throwback vampire feature that leans into the camp of it. And I just had a lot of fun in the town contained nature of it. I think it outdoes the original for me personally in terms of fun. It has an atmosphere to it too. And yeah, it definitely delivered, I think, what it was for. And going into the top 20, we're starting with Alien Romulus. For me, my favorite of the Alien specific franchise. A great exercise in what made the earlier films great, with its own sort of modern edge to it, and I love the showdown with what's at the end of the movie. One of the creepiest, coolest looking things I've seen in a long time. Great use of effects on every end. And 19 is going to be the Garfield movie. I gave a lukewarm review of it, came around to it more. I do like it overall, but there's actually a few Garfield animated projects I like more than this one. I do like it quite a bit, though. Chris Pratt's good, and the flashbacks are really sweet. Just talked about this one at 18. It's Brothers Love Dinklage and Brolin in this. Just a fun little crime fair, and yeah, definitely deserves more eyes on Amazon. 17 is Immaculate. Sydney Sweeney does a great fucking job in this. If you say she can't act, you're just lying after watching this. Good themes, a really memorable ending. I dug this one. 16 is a really nice surprise. Y2K, a lot of fun with it. Coming of age element to it with heart. And just violent as hell when it kicks in. Really, really love Rachel Zegler in this, as well as the kid from 2017 It movie again. He was on a roll this year too. Yeah, please do check it out. It's definitely overlooked. 15 is Longlegs. It sat really well with me. Not just Nick Cage having another like really standout performance, but Micah Monroe is good in this as well. And just the unsettling nature that Perkins brings that stays throughout the entire film. Alicia Witt is great in this as well. This could honestly be in my top 10 if I really wanted it to be. That's how good it was, and I think it's going to keep rising for me. 14 is Kung Fu Panda 4. Well, not as strong as the trilogy before. It's still a great adventure. I liked Aquafina in this as well. Just really easy and a good time. 13 is Amber Alert. Just a really unsettling feeling throughout. That kind of just, again, that unease. Hayden Panettiere gives a great performance in this that really stuck with me. Tyler James Williams and her have nice chemistry. Definitely an overlooked one. 12 is The Thicket, one of my more favorite westerns I've seen in quite a few years. Peter Dinklage plays a really cool, unique character in this. Has a really nice resonance to its story. The actual number 12 is In the Land of Saints and Sinners. Got more of a wide release this year, so I'm counting it. Maybe one of my 2 or 3 favorite Liam Neeson movies. It's very character driven. I love the Irish location of it and the cast. Kerry Condon is great. Jack Gleeson. This is cinema. I said it when I posted a review, and it still is. And going to the top 10 is The Crow. I thought this was a very good movie. I prefer it to the original. I don't think Brandon Lee is someone to get as wrapped up in the legacy continuing on as some people on the internet do. If you ever read about the guy's philosophies and such. Bill Skarsgård definitely makes it his own. It's a very different story. It doesn't try to be a complete remake of it or anything like that. Some satisfying violence to it, and just a nice character piece. 9 is going to be Deadpool and Wolverine. If I were just talking about Hugh Jackman, it would probably be in the top few of the entire list. Deadpool, I like in doses. His humor is not like one I like that sticks with me all that well. I did enjoy it. It was very entertaining for all the reasons you've heard. Hugh Jackman gives a great performance, as does a certain scene with someone at a campfire that really stuck. But yeah, it's definitely worth the ride. 8 is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I think it's just as good as the initial trilogy, man. I love the setting of it, the argument about Caesar and such, and just very good new characters. Breathes life into it to continue. 7 is maybe the most overlooked action film of the year. Anya Taylor-Joy is one of the greatest working today. She fills in for a younger Charlize really, really well and makes it her own. Chris Hemsworth's a lot of fun. Just the look of it is just so immaculate. And my number 6 is Rebel Moon Part 2. I am going to be talking about the director's cut, though, but really both, I suppose, may as well. I was someone who was always positive about Rebel Moon. I love Zack Snyder. I'm not saying he's perfect, but they're like extreme camps on the internet on both sides are just toxic and childish as hell. I've loved the Rebel Moon movies, and the director's cut's even better. A bit more characterization this one versus the first that resonates or sticks a bit more. The action, PG-13R or otherwise, it's even I think more in it here. Really good performances again with Ed Skrein being one of the most like hateable, memorable villains I've seen in a long time. Sofia Boutella is just great in this role. And really terrific, awesome action sequences. Maybe the best action, like pure like sci-fi action movie of the year. Too much slow mo. I think it really just makes you like take it all in, and instead of it just going by in a flash. And even then, it's not that excessive. But yeah, Rebel Moon deserves way more flowers. Both movies do. I could talk about the first one's director's cut this year too, but I'll stick to the sequel here. And now we're in the top 5, and I'm going with Nosferatu. This one could actually be even higher. I had it in my top 3 at one point. Some others I have to kind of squeeze past it still, but this is a masterpiece. I love Robert Eggers. I think he's one of the best directors working today. And this is probably just behind The Northman and Fighting with the Witch for my second favorite movie of his. Great performance from Lily Rose Depp, transformative performance from Bill Skarsgård. The atmosphere and the vibes of it is just, you can bite it, okay? Pun intended. You can feel it's just so in it, and it's so palpable. Fantastic film. And number 4 is Terrifier 3. Love both this one and Terrifier 2. Terrifier 2 just a bit more in reflection and hindsight, but Terrifier 3 was such a great marriage of the original film as well as 2. David Howard Thornton has solidified himself as a new modern horror icon, in my opinion. Lauren Rivera gives one of the best acting performances of the year. And again, just that mix of like just unforgiving slasher cruelty with a sense of fun that never really loses and expanding on the story. And my top 3, and we are going with Abigail. I rewatched this one and I had just as much fun with it as I did in theaters. I think it's a new all-time classic vampire movie. It's one of my all-time favorite vampire movies now. Really great young performance from her. You have a favorite of mine like Catherine Newton, who I absolutely deeply adore, in a really fun role in this, as well as the overlooked Kevin Durand. Dan Stevens is here too. But yeah, Radio Silence has been nailing it, and I think I like this one even more than Ready or Not. But yeah, love Abigail, and it's my third favorite movie of the year. And my top 2 movies of 2024. Number 2 is a movie that really snuck up on me that I'm glad I watched just in time, and that is My Old Ass, which is a Prime Video film starring Aubrey Plaza as well as Macy Stella. And it's basically her talking to her older self somehow with shrooms and such, supposedly, right? But it's basically just a really reflective character piece. There's some dramedy in there, of course, with the inherent fun of Aubrey Plaza, and her interacting. But God, this movie floored me with just how much it hit. Without spoiling it, just goes into like the themes of time is something we can never get back, and sort of looking at your life and seeing what actually matters, as well as looks at loss and how it's still worth loving something and someone, even if there's gonna be pain. It's still worth it. And I'm not doing it justice here, but it made both my wife and I cry. And I'm gonna admit it, I wear that on my sleeve when a film does that for me. Aubrey Plaza is fantastic. If you think all she is the persona you see on the internet that people talk about all the time, she is incredible in this movie, as is Macy Stella. But yeah, it's my second favorite movie of 2024. But my absolute favorite movie of 2024 should surprise no one that knows me at all. And that is Godzilla Kong: The New Empire. Godzilla, I've been a lifelong die-hard fan of his since I was a baby. I've loved what they've done with the MonsterVerse. I love every MonsterVerse film for its own reasons. And this is just such a great throwback to the 60s and 70s era of Godzilla films. Just visually really pops, and it's entertaining as hell. You have a great, really not wrap up, but like a really great full arc for Colin in this movie. Um, the appearance of a certain other kaiju that returns to help is an all time great moment for me. Godzilla's handled really well and key to the plot. Dan Stevens again pops up here just like an Abigail, and he's a lot of fun here. Um, and the Shimu character, I think, is a new classic kaiju in my opinion. Um, just a great ride. I've watched the movie probably 5, almost 6 times at this point. I absolutely love it. So yeah, Godzilla Kong the New Empire is my favorite movie of 2024.